A lot of talk about this economy, man, and the war, Trump, you know, people, his voters are turning on him. A lot of people are really angry, man. And he's going on about ballrooms and he's not really concerned with people. He's sitting there telling people, yeah, we're okay, this is the best in the world. But me and my boy, we just drove to a gas station earlier in the Bronx, and we were on the highway. He needed to fill his tank up, and when we got to the gas station, the joint says 6 and some change, man, for gas. And my man was like, they jacked it up because it's a highway, so they know people, if they pull up in there, is desperate, so they jack the price up, which is a form of riba, something that a lot of this country is based off of: borrowing, lending, riba, all this stuff, right? That's another topic. Riba, if you don't know what that is a term for usury. That's what it's called. It's you know what I'm saying, and it's illegal in Islam. It's like adding interest, using people and shit like that for gain and profit. That's bad business, man. But anyway, right? Got out of control gas prices, man. You got out of control prices, period. I've said this in several of my videos previously, like, yo, I go to the store and everything is skyrocketed, man. I'm talking about quadruple, 10 times the prices, some of them even 10 times the prices that it were before. Like, the hell, man. Like I said, yo, my electric bill was fucking $862, man. What the fuck? I live in an apartment, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it ain't like, and two of us, and me and my wife work, so it ain't like we home all day. Yeah, we run the air conditioner. Summertime, you're gonna run. You expect your bill to get up to about $300 or $400. $500 and $600 bills is ridiculous, man. Like, and you got people out here that have to work 2 jobs just to make ends meet. And in some of these states, they don't even get paid the minimum wage you get paid here in New York. But even it still balances you out here because of high costs. I spent $90 on cab fare this weekend because of faulty train service, right? Say I get a car, now I'm paying car insurance, skyrocketing rent. What else we paying for, man? Oh, your food costs, crazy. Everything is double with food, triple with food, right? So, eggs, I went in the store earlier and bought eggs. I had to buy, they got different brands. Each brand is like $5 or $6, $7, man. It's $10 for fucking dozen, for 18 eggs. And I knew, like, once they raise these prices, they're not gonna bring them back down to where they was before. They're gonna find a way to skyrocket the prices. That's the greed of capitalism, right? So, and then they prey on neighborhoods. They know, like, wealthier neighborhoods, they charge more. That's what they do, man. You know what I mean? Like, and I just, you know what I'm saying, I'm not living in a wealthy neighborhood. I moved into a more quieter neighborhood. But even when they look at quiet, they look at the quality of people and they see this is a working class area. People are working, it's a lot of retired people, so they thinking people got the money to just spend that type of money, which is also a form of riba, because you're jacking the price up, man. And it's like, come on. But I understand at the same time, they got their bills to pay, and, they have to raise the prices, and that's what happens with these tariffs and things like that the president doesn't give a fuck about. You're creating tariffs and doing all of this shit that's raising prices for the citizens. So once they got us so divided with this politics shit, this left versus right. We're not seeing reality. You hear the people speak about it, but we're not doing anything about it because we're not together. So you're not seeing massive boycotts. You're not seeing massive protests the way it should be. People should be in the street. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, I'm telling you, you're going to some of I'll be watching Epic Economics and you hear the people complaining. He shows these videos and people said, man said in Pennsylvania, minimum wage is $7.50. Yo, imagine if that shit was like that. Yo, just in New York about 12, 13 years ago, the minimum wage wasn't even, I don't even think it was $15, man. Like, you know, I think minimum wage, I forgot, I don't know what it is now, but to work for just minimum wage and you're trying to survive in this society, and it doesn't matter where you live, they're gonna balance you the fuck out. You have to be rich to afford these type of prices, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, some of these rents in New York is $6,000, man, $4,000 or $5,000. They don't care, man. And it's crazy, man. Like, something has to give, man, because people can't afford to survive out here, man. Like, yo, you got, not only you working 2 jobs, you're taking away from, if you got kids and things like that. It's like pretty much telling somebody, yo, why even have kids? Why bring them in this world? They're gonna inherit these debts. You ain't really gonna be able to spend the time you want with them because you're gonna be constantly working to try to pay a fucking bill. And this man is talking about a ballroom, man. You worrying about a country having a new country, not even thinking about us, man. You showed us no intelligence, nothing, no evidence that they had a nuke or they were building one. But just because of another country, they want to secure and make sure all these other countries are destabilized so that they can control their area and become a superpower. That's what that shit is about, man. And it's messed up, man. Look how they're treating people. And if you were really about humanity, you would stop that shit. You would say, you know what, nah, fuck this shit. We can't allow this. Especially you see the way they're treating those people there, man. Or what's left of the people there. Killing babies. You know, you see these videos of them blowing up innocent people. I mean, we're part of it too, because look, we're blowing up ships of fishermen in the Caribbeans. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these people are evil, man. And Republicans got a lot of blood on their hands. So do some of these Democrats, man. It doesn't really matter because they in it for the bag, man. That's it. These motherfuckers get in these offices and they see the money that they can make. And even the military's down with it. They see the bread they can make. They get overseas. They see all the opportunities with the drugs, you know, with all the, you know, all the stuff over there, the money, the extortion, the trafficking. They're part of all that shit, man, to me, man, in my opinion. And I feel like we getting short in, man. We the ones that are gonna suffer, man. Oh man, like when we're suffering now. Then they try to come with AI. They trying to build data centers and they coming with AI and robots probably to take your fucking job, man. So they just like, fuck the people, man. What are we gonna do, man? While we worrying about race and this is what, they don't give a fuck about you either, man. You had some of these people, they snob their nose up at you and all the fan. You were a part of one of us, man. They don't give a fuck about none of us, man. You know what I mean? It's just the reality, man. They could care less about how you feel, man. You know, but one thing they care about is voting, and they know that they got enough suckers and dummies that's gonna continue to vote for this shit because of their personal hatred, and they feed off of that shit, fear and hatred, man. That's the main things these people feed off of, man. So they know that people have so much hatred that as long as they're doing okay, they don't give a fuck. They're gonna vote for these assholes anyway, knowing what they're doing, because they're full of hate. And you know, you got some people that feel like, oh, y'all people like Trump, and y'all, fam, I've been saying this shit. It's not just him, it's the people that's backing him, and you're seeing it, man. He's an opportunist, and he saw an opportunity. I think the first go around, he you know, it was still a lot of establishment people around him, and he couldn't really shake the way he wanted. This time, he said, "I know what to do. I know who to get around me. I'm getting rid of all these establishment motherfuckers out of here, and we're gonna get this bag, man." And that's what they doing, man. So, you know, when he shot himself in the foot at with his supporters was the Epstein files. Shouldn't have said anything about that. All you had to do was run on the economy, because Kamala, she was already shooting her own self in the foot. She didn't have any plans, really. No idea what's going like. So all you had to do was just run on your policies of fixing this, that, and the third. You would have been good. When you brought the Epstein files, that's what fucked you up, man. That's what turned people against you. But now he knows. First of all, this man is 80-some years old. He's 80 years old, man. He gives a fuck what happens after he gets out of the presidency. They already got the shit set up for his kids, his grandkids after that. Everybody's secure. He doesn't give a fuck what you do after that. Like, come on. And now the people that continue to vote for the rest of them, like the J.D. Vances and all these people that are sitting back watching all this shit take place, and they're profiting from it too, you'll be a fool, man. So a lot of people are waking up, and people are starting to vote for a lot of these young kids and these progressives, and you know, some of them happen to be Muslims. And you know, God find a way to put it, you know what I'm saying, to humiliate you and you know what I mean, like show you your fears and show you how dumb you look to those fears. And like I said, all they doing is pushing fear and anger and hatred. That's the play. Fear and hatred, that's their play, man. But it's not really working in a lot of these states now. Some of these states is waking up. People, like, because of the heartaches, people are saying, nah, we gotta get change. And some people are now saying, you know, it doesn't matter what religion this person is. If he's preaching change and we feel like he's, you know, an honest dude, they're voting for him, just like they voted for Obama. They remember we were in this predicament when Obama was in office, but it was a depression or whatever. It was a recession going on. People were struggling. We were in damn near the same boat, man. This idiot Bush had wars and all type of shit going on. He fucked the economy up, everything. The banks fucked up the economy. The foreclosures on the houses and all that. We remember 2008, and people, you know, they looked at Obama and they said, what do we got to lose? And now you're seeing it again. He was a young guy who spoke what people wanted to hear, and he actually tried to push forth his plans. He got an Obamacare across, but you know, I watched how the Republicans were sabotaging everything because they didn't want him, you know, to outshine them. You know, so they tried to block everything. You know, so now what we're seeing is history repeat itself. And 2028, which is 20 years later, we're probably going to have another young candidate that come out of nowhere that, you know, is going to be appealing for the people because they're tired of this shit. We need change, and the only way for us to get change is we got to let our voices be heard. Our votes do count. It has to count, or they wouldn't be going so hard to do what they do. They've been suppressing the vote, especially our people that look like me, since post-Civil War. They've been fucking with our votes, fucking with our towns. You know what I'm saying? Like not letting us in office and all that shit. Like they don't want us. They want all the power for themselves, and they don't. And that's the the very few of them that are racist, they find ways to push certain policies through that fuck us up, or they find ways to jam us up, physically. But now, a lot of people are awake. Young kids are standing together once again, just like they did in Vietnam, just like they did 2008. And I think that what's going to happen is they know that people are going to, the Republican Party's probably going to get, if they do everything fair and square, they're going to get slaughtered. Even though people don't like Hakeem Jeffries and all, they're going to get ran out of office too. Because a lot of people, once you start seeing a new wave of Democrats and independents, you're going to see a lot of those guys get out of here if everything goes the right way. That's what I'm thinking. Republicans, and I don't really care for either party, but what I'm seeing, I've got to go by what I see. And I see these Republicans allow so much to happen, all for them to try to keep control or to appease the president and then try to keep control. I've seen them defend the indefensible. You can't defend the indefensible, man, and they don't care. We just sat here and watched a black man, Tim Scott, go on TV and pretty much embarrass himself trying to defend the indefensible, to the point when she was blasting him with shit, he couldn't even answer the question. He kept referring to, deflecting it, blaming on Biden, blaming Biden. Biden ain't been in office in 2 years, man. You know what I'm saying? And the lady mentioned that she was flaming him in that interview, and he couldn't answer the questions, man. But this is the type of shit they're doing, man. So, you know what I mean? Like I said, I believe that the votes, they have to count for something, or they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. So, but I do think you should vote for the right candidates. But in a situation like this, change has to happen, which means we all got to get out there and put them votes together. But that don't mean just vote anybody in just to get them out. But we got to make sure that the candidates are the right candidates, and they're not. But we never know until they get in office, because they can talk all that shit. That most of them talk the shit they want you to hear. Then when they get in office, they start doing. They see that bag, man, and their eyes turn green, man, and next thing you know, those promises, it's just a thing of the past, man. So now, we just have to be very careful who we voting for, man. And we need to really, one thing Young Turk said that makes sense, we need to push our own candidates out, because a lot of times we get candidates that they want us to have instead of the candidates that we want to have. But not only that, our voices got to be heard with some type of boycotting, some type of protesting, especially if these prices continue. This shit is crazy, man. And this is how the dollar can crash. And then now you're starting to see a lot of these countries not even want to fuck with us. Now we got beef with Canada because this guy want to put tariffs on. But why? Then you got other countries, they looking at us now. We losing the war to Iran. Iran's feeling it too, trust me. But we're feeling it, and the world is seeing that, we struggling with Iran. And now we're losing the power in the Middle East, man. These countries are forming their own pacts. And now they playing the nice guy. Told y'all to watch China. I told y'all to watch China, man. I say, China, they laying back, playing a good guy, man. And they playing, they not really getting their hands dirty. They just letting the United States fuck their own selves over. And we just continuing to lose allies, and people are not having the confidence, and people are going to start going to China, and their money's going to end up being a reserve currency, and our money's going to crash because there's nothing backing it. Now we're not even controlling the oil. If we don't get telling you, they don't get back control of the oil. They're going, and I strongly think, and I think I said this in a video last year or right around the time I said this shit when this war started. They got us. They in a way, the United States, they have to control that Middle East, man. Because China was lurking, man. China was making advances, man. They making alliances and shit. And I feel like the United States had to try to get people back under control in the Middle East, or they were going to lose the Middle East. And now, because you can't really control that strait, and you didn't succeed in stopping Iran, they could lose the dollar over there. And other countries now saying, you know what, we're going to form our own alliance. And they're looking at countries like Turkey and China, and they're making it happen, man. And, you know, that's going to be America's worst nightmare, because now our money's going to be no good. If other countries start to say, you know what, we're going to mess with China, especially European countries, which is our real bread and butter, we're screwed, man. All those US dollars going to come back into the United States, and we could be screwed, man. And it's going to be too much money. And this idiot's going to, if he's in office, if this happens, which I doubt, but he might be in office when this happens, he'll think it's a ring. Oh, look at all the money coming back to America. Look at my tariffs are doing it. You know, we're fucked up, man. Now all the money going to come back. Yeah, we're going to have a bag. We're going to end up like Zimbabwe, man. I don't know, man. But I'm not, like, I know there's a lot of people. I know people that supported Trump and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure, you know, I don't go online to, you know, talk politics like Facebook and shit like that. I might, because I had a lot of friends on there, and I know a lot of them are Trump supporters. So, you know what? I'll take the L over there. You know, I'm not going to fuck up my friendships or family, you know, because people take this shit. And I've already, I don't want to say lost a friend, but I had to block a friend over religious talks. He was too disrespectful. Supposed to be a Christian, and you just constantly disrespecting my faith. Like, if you don't agree with it, you don't agree with it. No reason to be disrespectful. And I had to block him. This is the second time I blocked. First time I blocked him, unblocked him, and we chopped it. That was my boy, man. And I still got love for him. That's my boy, man. But he was just a little bit too fanatical with his words and just disrespectful, like. But, you know, I don't want to go through shit like that again. I know politics is even worse, man. Because there's people that they really strongly love this guy. I don't know why. But people, you know, they think he's some type of savior, man. Shit is like a cult. And I know, you know what I'm saying? I know I go on there and say certain things. It shit could trigger an argument. And it's like, you know what? I'd rather just, I save my comments for shit like this, my little videos. Now, if you happen to see the video, you don't like it, cool. But I'm not going to go on Facebook and post statements like I used to do it. But now I stop, you know what I mean? Like, because I know how sensitive this shit can get. And, you know, I'm not going to be arguing with niggas that I'm cool with over some guy that none of us even know, even though he's fucking up our lives. You know, knowing them, they're going to say it's Biden's fault. He started it. He was his fault, and look what Trump inherited and all this. Come on. Right? It's just, you know, you can't make this up, man. But anyway, man, it's time to go, Coolio. It's getting too hot. Faye had twins. She probably had 2 Pocs. Get it? 2 Pocs. Damn, man. We lost a lot of great rappers, man. Damn, man. Anyway, man. Rest in peace, Big, man. I'm out, man. Manyface Publishing, man. Peace.